Hey, what's up everybody? Chris here. So today we are going to be talking about the R sound in contrast with the W sound. This video is probably going to be most helpful for people who speak Hebrew or French, but if you don't speak those languages, I'm sure that you will still have a lot to learn from this video. Hey, what's up? So I almost forgot to let you know that there is a very special tip at the end of the video. If you skip everything else that I teach in this video, do not skip that last tip. Please don't forget that. Of course, I want you to watch the rest of the video, but that last tip is especially valuable. Okay, I'll let you get back to the video now. In this video, we're going to do a few things. We're going to compare the R sound to the W sound, talk about its similarities and its differences, and then we're going to really start focusing on the R sound and where you should have your tongue and your lips and your jaw, and we'll practice a few exercises that can help us get used to having our lips and our tongue and our jaw this way. I've divided this video into several parts, so if you see a part that you think really pertains to you, then just skip to that part. Alright, so let's get started. So first of all, for speakers of French and Hebrew, if you think about the R sound that you have in those languages, they're quite different from the R that we have in American English. So the R sound that you have, I'm going to do my best, is something like there's that contact happening there. Feels really weird to me, but I guess it's natural to you, so that's all that matters, right? Do me a favor. I want you to do this sound right now, if you have it in your language. Now, you can feel that your tongue is so high in the back of your mouth that it has contact with this thing that's hanging down, the uvula, in the back of your throat. Here, that's why that sound is happening. I wonder if you can see it. That's what that sounds like. So here we are going to focus on bringing the back of our tongue down so that it is no longer an obstruction for our voice. So here, let's compare between and okay, let's get a little bit closer so we can compare. All right, if you take a look at my throat here, this is a weird angle, but here, let's take a look and compare the differences. You can see that right here, where my jaw meets my throat, this place is a little bit tenser, a little bit higher when I do that sound. It's kind of like I'm trying to get rid of a second chin that's trying to appear here. If you think about that that R that exists in French or Hebrew, there needs to be some space here so that you can have that resonance, that sound building up here. But here, what we are going to do in the American R is we're going to eliminate that space. Gosh, it's that sound is so hard for me to do. So here, I know that a lot of people who are watching right now are able to get rid of that sound, but it still sounds kind of like a little bit hollow. That's what it probably sounds for a few people. So here we're just going to I don't even know how to describe that. Here, what I'm doing is I am moving the back of my tongue up. And here you can see as I open my mouth. So I'm moving the back of my tongue and pretty much all of my tongue up here. So that's that motion that we want. We want everything to kind of stay up there. Okay, so now that we know what the back of our tongue is going to be doing, I also want you to remember that the back of our tongue is going to have contact on both sides, and that back part we'll actually feel our back teeth with the sides of our tongue. So here, you can see that I have contact on both sides of my mouth with the back of my tongue. My tongue is so wide that it can touch both sides. Take another look. So here again, we're keeping it there. It's almost going to be like you are able to bite the sides of your tongue, but of course I don't want you to hurt yourself watching one of my videos. So of course you're not going to actually bite the side of your tongue, but you will feel that contact there. The sides of your tongue are going to be pushing on those teeth. All right, so now that we are able to keep the back of our tongue high and touching our back teeth, now we need to start thinking about what the tip of our tongue is going to be doing. Here, this is a random question, but have you ever watched the show SpongeBob? You remember how SpongeBob had a pet? It wasn't a cat, it wasn't a dog, because cats and dogs don't live under the sea. He had a pet snail. And whenever the pet snail would get scared of something, it would kind of retreat back into its shell. So here, probably when you were doing that motion where the back of your mouth was high, or the back of your tongue was high, I feel like the tip of your tongue probably retreated into that shell there. So here, this is probably what you were doing. See how, like, you can't really see the tip of my tongue there. It's kind of just disappeared into the rest of my tongue. So what we are going to do now is we're going to kind of play around with the mobility of the tip of our tongue. But at the same time, we're going to keep the back of our tongue high, touching those spots that I was telling you about. So here, it's still going to be up. And here, we're just moving it around, just so that you can get used to this feeling. I'm going to do this for about 30 seconds, and I want you to do it with me, because that's the only way you're going to be able to develop this muscle strength. All right, so while you are watching this, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's happening here. So here, remember, the back of your tongue is high, touching both sides of your back teeth. Here, the tip of your tongue is probably not used to being up without touching anything, honestly. So that's probably one of the reasons why this R sound is so tricky. So doing exercises like this one will just get you more used to this feeling. So you can put this video on a loop for as long as you like. Do it for like 30 seconds, a minute, whatever is best for you. Okay, now that you're a little bit more familiar with how to do that motion, here we're going to add our voice. We haven't made a sound yet. So here, let's just practice that same movement, but just with our voice. Now here, notice I am not touching the roof of my mouth. Here we are avoiding touching the roof of our mouth with the tip of our tongue. I know that this is super weird. It feels really, really strange, but if it feels super weird to you, that means that you're getting closer to making a sound that you've never made before. Here, doing this kind of practice will help. I guarantee you that this will help you get closer to the sound that you want to produce. Okay, so now that we know what that is going to sound like without our lips, here we need to add our lips. I think that a lot of people, when they are trying to make this sound, get a little bit too tense. They start thinking about it a lot, and then like every muscle in their body becomes super, super tense. But here, I'm here to tell you that it's not going to be super tense. Here, there is some tenseness, but it's actually not really in your lips. The tensest thing, here, you know what? Do me a favor. All right, I want you to raise both of your index fingers, and then I want you to turn them around. Touch your fists together, and I want you to put your index fingers here, not touching your lips, but right under your lips. Right there. Not at the corners of your lips, but right in just a little bit. You should be able to do that when you're doing it. Okay, so here we are going to feel not so much that our muscles are tense, but we will feel an increase in space between the outside of our skin and our gums. Our gums are this pink fleshy thing that is holding our teeth up. Here we are going to have our fingers here, and when we tense up, we're going to feel that there's a little bit more space there. It's not going to be hard like a rock, unless you're like, I don't know, doing some Olympic kissing or something like that. But here you will feel a tiny increase in space. And I just want you to practice that movement here. Keep your fingers up so that you can feel that movement. Here, I'm going to give you a side view. All right, let's get a little bit closer again. Here, we're going to be doing the same thing, but now I want you to start thinking about what we were doing with our tongue earlier. Here, remember, your tongue is high in your mouth, touching those back teeth, and we are going to do that thing in the front of our mouth, in the front of our tongue. And then we're going to push up here. Here, when we're doing this, I want you to keep the tip of your tongue still. I know we were moving it up and down before, but this time I want you to keep it still. Try to keep it hovering in the same position. Notice how the sound does not start until my lips are in that position. Okay, now I told you that we were going to talk a little bit about the R sound and the W sound and the differences between those. These are extremely similar to each other. They're very, very, very similar. Honestly, this R sound is one of the hardest sounds for native speakers to learn in our own language. A lot of the time when you hear babies or like toddlers talking, instead of saying wed, or instead of saying red, they say wed, because they haven't understood what they're supposed to be doing with their tongue. Your tongue is doing a lot of stuff. So let's make that W sound really quick and kind of analyze what's happening there. W, 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 w. Here, I want you to put your hands, we're going to do like the Home Alone thing. W, 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 w. You can really feel a lot of that vibration there, right? When we are doing a W sound, you'll notice that the tip of your tongue is down. It's not doing anything. That's probably what you're doing if you're watching this video. W, 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 w. And you'll notice that there's a lot of hollowness, a lot of emptiness in my mouth cavity. W, w, w. Now, when we do the R sound, it's different. R, r, r. One really big difference is that when here we're going to use our index finger again. I'm going to make the sound, and I want you to listen as I start tapping my cheek right here. You can feel, or you can hear and feel that it's kind of loose when you do that. Do it yourself. Give it a try. Here, that means that we're getting ready to do a W sound. But when we are getting ready to do that R sound, you can't really hear any change in the quality of the sound. If you want to fix that problem, I recommend doing that exercise that we did before. Putting your index fingers here. If I have too much tenseness in my lips, you can feel and hear me like pushing the air out of my mouth with my cheeks. So here again, this is just another reason for you to practice pushing up right here so that your bottom lip pushes up on your top lip. Alright, so finally we're going to end by doing some R and W minimal pairs. Remember, minimal pairs are basically two words that are almost exactly the same. The only difference is two sounds. So in this case, it's going to be the R sound and the W sound. Here, I'm going to start with the W sound word, and then we'll move on to the R sound word. You'll understand what I mean when we start doing it. Repeat after me and remember those steps that we talked about. Wed. Red. Wad. Rod. If that rod was sounding a little bit more like wad, remember that we need to flip our tongue up and decrease that air on the inside. Let's continue. Wade. Raid. Wage. Rage. Waste. Raced. Wait. Rate. Don't forget to lift the tip of your tongue for that R. Way. Ray. Wax. Okay, all of those words that we did had the R and the W at the beginning of the word. Now we're going to try some that have the R and the W sound in the middle and toward the end. If these are particularly difficult for you, I've got another video that's probably going to help you out about this OR sound. So don't worry. Bode. Bored. Bowing. Boring. Sewing. Soaring. Sows. Soars. Bows. Bores. Foe. For. Toe. Tore. Woe. War. Doe. Door. Mow. More. So. Soar. Excellent job. If you made it to the end of this video, you may as well just leave me a comment and like the video. I mean, come on. But really, thank you so much for watching this video. I honestly really hope that it helped. If you feel like it helped, then please let me know specifically which part you felt like helped you in the comments below. And here, one last tip. All right, I want to leave you with one last tip. Hold on just a second. So this part is specifically for those people who felt like it was really difficult to control what the front of your mouth is doing, the tip of your tongue specifically. I know that it can be tricky, so look what I've got. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. We have them here in the United States. It's basically what you use to floss your teeth, but it's got this little plastic thing attached to it, which is perfect for putting into your mouth. Now be careful, I don't want you to like choke and die or anything, but the thing that I want you to do, if you can get a hold of one of these, is I want you to put your tongue through this little hole, and then I want you to focus on curling your tongue back onto that thing. It's gonna look like this. And here, you can even close your lips around this. I'm pretty sure that this will help you find where your tongue is supposed to be. You can get used to that, and then you can try it without this tool. Okay, so let me know in the comments if that helped at all. I really hope that it does. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye!